Good night, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to the end of HearthCon 2026.
Wow.
Our second annual. Can you believe I did it twice?
Round of applause.
Yay. Yeah. Due to the timing, especially because tomorrow is a Monday, I suspect we will not be having as many people for this stream as for the rest of them, but we, generally speaking, had about 50 to 100 live viewers. We're currently sitting at about 300 to 400 people have watched all of the movies, and
or some of the streams they're going through.
They're going through, so we expect to see probably around 600 at the end of it, which is roughly around the same where we were last year.
And we've had 6,000 people see it on
Reddit
our Cozy Fantasy, and 2,000 people see it in our forum, like the romance forums. And then we had
fantasy writers.
1,500 people signed up for links. So
yeah, we're slowly growing over time.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good turnout.
Yeah, we've got James and SL Rowland joining us here for our end of festivities tavern night, where we all go and grab ourselves a drink.
Here.
In this case, of course, they are all alcoholics. So invite everybody to let me know, both in the comments and you James and SL, what your
drink of choice.
What's your drink of choice is?
Okay. Let's see.
I have, it is Brick River cider. It's apple blueberry and lavender hard cider.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Apple blueberry. I've never had a blueberry cider. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's my first time trying it. Wanted to do something kind of fall themed.
Mm-hmm. How about you, James?
All right, so I'm drinking a Schoof beer from Belgium. It's the Belgian Blonde, and it's got a little gnome on it, parasailing down from an airplane, because apparently the brewery wants you to know that that's how he travels around. And he's got a little red hat on and some goggles.
Amazing.
Nice.
We have, of course, rum and eggnog.
Ooh. What kind of rum?
Oh, the captain.
Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan.
We have Elaine Griffith.
Elaine Griffith has entered the studio. Oh, I think she maybe thought that everybody was invited.
Edwin Griffin.
Well, the more the merrier.
Everybody can be invited. Do you have your drink?
The more the merrier.
Well, it's actually whipped cream and cinnamon.
Oh, go add some rum.
Yes.
Go add some rum.
I can't drink any alcohol.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I didn't realize it was an invite thing. I thought it was everybody.
No. It's the invite to drink night.
But more the merrier. Come join us.
Yeah.
I would if I could.
Looks like some viewers are drinking with us.
Yeah. Fireside Autumn Spice wine, some whiskey, bold wine, Doublewood.
Doublewood whiskey sounds good, Alex.
Yep. Everybody always asks me, James, do you ever find people always ask at these events, drink some beer? Why aren't you drinking beer?
I don't do too many events, but I would imagine that would be a question. And after writing about beer, it's so hard to keep drinking as much as I have while writing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blueberry mead. So, fun fact: Jolly and I drank almost primarily like just tea and mead for a decade. And then he got really into beer. But we have like a mead cabinet. We have homemade meads. We live on an island with 135 lakes and 7 meaderies.
Wow.
So there are walls of mead options at every single event. We also go to like 6 or 7 Ren fairs every year, and we hunt down the good mead makers.
Wow.
There are some really good mead makers in.
So are there a lot of orchards in your area?
Oh yeah.
Is that why? Or?
Lots of orchards. But I think that the reason you see we have a lot of mead is, one, there's a lot of apiaries.
Yeah.
2, all the Ren fairs, they all make meads because that's
honey,
the medieval alcohol of choice, right?
Yeah.
So and you've really got to, if you're going to get a mead, you can't get the stuff at the grocery stores or at the liquor stores, because liquor store mead, they treat it like a wine. There's certain expectations, and the sweeter kind of meads don't sell as well.
It's like a nice sweet mead. Also, a 25-day-old mead is delicious, and you just don't get that in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had 4-year-old meads and 25-day-old meads, and like they're all delicious. Not like 25 days after you put it in the bottle. I meant.
No, it's actually funny for beers. Book 4 is not about beer. Book 4 is wines, ciders, and meads.
Excellent. Ciders can be so good.
Yeah,
but it actually really surprised me, because I thought wines would have sort of just as much to them as beers, but once you know all of the ins and outs of brewing beer, there's just not as much for wines, because there are people are willing to try out weird beers and different types of beers, but it seems that there's just not the commercial or desire for the just weird wines as much.
I was going to say, speaking of mead, there's an amazing meadery on Hawaii that we just stumbled across few months ago. Just because I'm not drinking right now doesn't mean I don't drink.
Yeah.
I love alcohol. It's just my stomach doesn't always love it. But Vasir's mead, which is spelled Kvasir. Yeah. They're this adorable Polish couple, and they make their own mead with honey from Hawaii, and they'll take you on a tour of their house and their meadery and give you this most amazing mead I've ever tasted, because he makes it the Polish way. And they add things, rosemary.
You really got to get the craft meats. That's where the good stuff is.
Craft meats where it's at.
I highly recommend. Go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
In Vermont, there was this meadery. Their name was Artisano. I don't know if you all are familiar with them.
No.
Okay, they did mead in the wine style, because I know you can. I'm not too knowledgeable about mead, but I know you can do it in like more of a beer style or a wine style. And they had one with cinnamon, and it was so good.
I once went to one of our mead specialists who had been doing mead for about 7 or 8 years, decided to do a tea mead tasting where she made Earl Grey mead and chai mead, and she brewed the mead. She brewed the spices and tea bags in the mead. So you couldn't, like, you would have to, in order to buy a bottle, you had to promise that you would turn the bottle every, so often before you opened it, because it was the problem with tea meads is you can't use tea instead of water, because it doesn't interact with the honey properly, doesn't dissolve properly with the what is it called? The bugs that.
The bugs?
What are they called?
The yeast. The yeast.
The yeast doesn't
You read
react.
all of Beers and
I'm
Beers,
so
book
sorry.
1.
I did, I
No
literally-
excuse.
I read and edited every page. I don't know. Yeah, the yeast doesn't
bugs.
play at all with tea. So you have to make the mead first and then brew the tea in like a cold brew in the tea. And then you have to take the tea out but leave the flavors in. So sometimes she would for chai, she would brew the tea chai and then she'd take the chai out but leave cinnamon sticks in the tea, which would then she's like, if you're gonna drink it, an hour before you drink it, you have to turn it upside down so that the tea's flavor will go throughout the mead as opposed to setting on the bottom. Anyway, long story short, it was so good. It was so good. All of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one more down. I think you all took part in at least one.
What were you on?
What were you guys
panels?
I was on the cute sidekicks panel.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was
Cool.
a lot of fun.
I like
Yeah, I
that.
had an event yesterday, so I missed most of the panels during the day, but
Hmm.
looks like you guys had a good turnout.
It was fun.
Author Steve Rowland.
Oh, the
Yep.
Steve Rowland.
Hmm.
What about you, Elaine?
I was on the beginners writers panel.
Yeah.
That one was fun. It was an icebreaker for me. I'd never done this before. So now it's fun. I want to do it again.
Yep. And James, you were hosting for us.
Yes, for the narrating cozy fantasy.
So good.
So good.
Yeah, my narrator was on that panel. Jessica.
Oh
Yes,
yes. I
Yeah.
was so excited to talk with her. It was James, Jessica, and Jess. JJJ.
JJJ.
That's
I want all of you to narrate my books, so I'm trying to save up money for that.
Yeah.
My next goal is to see if I can't get a webtoon made. Well, because
Yeah.
Athon bought out Bolt
Wonderful.
Comics here, right? And they've got a bunch of webtoons all coming out. So
great.
Cross my
Some
fingers.
dwarves. Some dwarves.
Nice.
no, I've got my that one's probably not going to, but I've got a new series in the works here that
It's
I'm
very
thinking
fun.
would be more webtoony appropriate. So
Yeah.
I'll cross my fingers and hope.
You guys have to tell Jolly to finish the book he's at now, because he's been 7 chapters from the end since June.
Oh,
Oh wow.
that's so close.
It's always one more chapter.
And you know what happened is he looked at me at the end of June, early July, and he goes, "Wife, I have the perfect idea for my next series. I'm so excited for it. I just have to finish these 8 chapters." And I think he was so excited for the new series that he spent 2.5 months not writing.
No,
That's what I'm calling
I have
it.
still been writing.
You gotta write
you know.
more. Or were you writing?
I've written like 10 chapters since there were only 8 chapters left.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
more sense because
That's how it
he would be
goes.
sitting at his desk and he'd be like, "No, I still have 8 chapters, wife. No, I still have 8 chapters, wife." I was like, "I gave you 4 hours of writing. How do you still have 8 chapters left?"
Hey, when you're at the end of a 4-book series, there's just all kinds of things you have to tie up. And
Oh
loose
yeah,
ends
Oh
and-
yeah.
it gets messy.
You
I'm
wouldn't
in the
know
same
that.
boat. I can't tell you not to do that because
Yeah.
I'm doing literally the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
2 more cozies, then you can do your lit RPG. But I just
Yeah.
want to do the lit RPG.
I'm not allowed to say anything. Jolly reminds me because I will contract with Podium to do a 100,000 word book, and I'll tell myself, okay, I have until February to do this 100,000 word book, so I'll just make sure that beginning of February I'm done, and I reach the beginning of February with 100,000 words. And then I panic and write another 40,000 words in the next 3 weeks because I wasn't done. So he's calling the kettle. I'm calling the kettle black. I'm
Right.
How much vodka?
Kettling
How much
the-
rum have you had?
It is so difficult to manage new ideas for series, especially
Yeah.
when you're at the end of something you've been working so long on, especially when you're tying up loose ends.
yeah.
So, James, you finished, didn't you?
Yes. Yep. All except the audio. And I'm about 80% to the audio of book 2. It's been slow because I've had so many projects to do for other authors, and I didn't want to skip in line, even though it's my own work, you know?
Yep. I
Oh,
understand.
so you narrate your own books?
Yes. And starting with Bronze Rank Brewer, the first one. And I think I'm doing 6 books at the same time right now, which is very difficult. 3 of them are the Goblin books, which are a shoot-off of the Hawkins Magic Beer goblins, pirate goblins who get lost in the world. And then there's Silver Rank Brewer, Gold Rank Brewer, and then 2 for other authors of a different genre.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, congrats.
Thank you so much. And
Cheers.
there are so many times where I remember, cheers, when I rewrote Hawkins Magic Beers. I started publishing it in 2020 in Halloween, and I didn't like it, so I came back to it a few months later and rewrote it, put it out, And then I remember at some point I saw beers and beards come up, and I was so nervous. I was like, oh no.
You know, he
'Cause-
was the same. He saw yours and he's like, which one of us came first?
I was like, well, because you got so popular, which I applaud you for, I was worried that you were going to find me and be like, oh, this guy's copying me. And I was so scared. And I was like, should I reach out? Should I not say anything? And then, yeah.
Yeah.
And then since then, we've talked, and there's been so many times where I wanted to share like memes of beer and very cool just information about beer, like torpedo bottles, like so many things I've wanted to share with you, but I've been too nervous. Too shy.
I'm pretty sure you've got my Discord. Just share it. Just
Yeah.
share it. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
The so for everybody who doesn't know, which is obviously everybody, although Steve probably knows, at DragonCon, where we went to last year, and then got COVID, and then got long COVID, and that's a whole story.
Oh.
That's tough. At DragonCon every year, all of the lit RPG authors all get together at the bar of the.
Don't say it.
Okay.
It's a super
At a
secret.
secret bar, all of the lit RPG authors
Love
get together and just drink and
Yeah.
chat, and
Cool.
you'll
West.
no. Careful if they find out that you told, I don't know
Where's Dragon
how
Con?
long will come and
I'll take
Oh
the
yeah,
fall.
how long will be in my
Atlanta.
hands?
Oh,
That's far
Atlanta. Oh, Atlanta is so awesome. The Beltline. If you guys are ever in Atlanta, the Beltline it's under construction, but it's so awesome.
Yeah, it was under construction when I lived there like 12 years ago, 15 years ago.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so at DragonCon at the end of every evening, after all of the authors have been hawking their books all day at tables, we would all, there's all kinds of events and panels and so on and so forth, but it did not feel as valuable as just sitting at the pub with a bunch of authors in your genre and just, chatting. So I'd say we spent 50% of our time at our booth, 30% of our time
You went back to
at the
sleep.
bar. I mean, I went to bed earlier, but
I didn't.
she stayed up all night.
I went. I had to manage my bardic, fantasy bardic, everything with my lit RPG.
Everything.
So I would abandon Jolly at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then he would go to the subway. We don't
And
have
I'd
them.
order like a 6
Yeah.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I'd go
Marta.
off to the other building and I would be singing in like weird fantasy harmonies until 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'd roll in at 4 and we'd be up at 6 to go back. And
How old are you?
35, it's fine.
I'm 40. I keep telling her you don't have much time left.
Yeah, I was like, I know. A lot.
You got to go to bed earlier than our 6-year-old to be functioning these days.
Pretty much.
Yeah, my wild days stopped after about 38, I think. 38 is when I finally slowed down. Sort of. I mean, we just went to Vegas, so what am I saying?
Oh, Vegas. Wow, very cool.
Speakeasies in Vegas. Super fun.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, since I've got you buttonholed here, Steve. How did you? It is you and Matt Dinneman's book, right?
It is. Yeah.
And were you ever able to quantify how much traffic that brought you?
Somewhat. I can see on my website, like I have a blog post that I made. And it's like, are you searching for author Steve Rowland? And it gets hundreds of hits like every month. I mean, probably, I don't know if I can see like the all-time views. I'll check that. But
What's the backstory with Dinneman? What?
This
Something
might not be
about
cozy, but it's
dancing.
funny.
It might not be cozy, but it's really
I love
funny.
Dungeon
Do you want
Crawler,
to explain author Steve Rowland?
But
yeah,
have
I don't mind.
1,000
I actually, I came across the original source tweet a couple of weeks ago, so now I have the screenshot. But let's see. Oh, I can only see the last 30 days on my website because I don't pay for the pro insights. But yeah, I've got like almost 2,000 views of that webpage uh, in the past
Nice.
30 days. But anywho, so several years ago, I don't remember. Let me see. Actually, I can pull it up. April 6th, 2022 at 10:26 p.m. Matt Disneman makes a tweet that says, "I need a good male stripper name. They'll be with two other strippers named Anaconda and Damascus Steel. Hashtag writing community. Hashtag write chat. Hashtag lit RPG." And then I, in my infinite wisdom, typed Stephen Rowland, and that was it. And
The rest is
I
history.
I didn't think about it, again after that. I thought I was just being funny. And then a few weeks go by, I started getting some weird Facebook messages. It's like,
Are
oh,
you author Steve Rowland?
you like Billie Eilish? You like dancing? You've got some really good moves. And turns out these people were like reading advanced chapters on Patreon at the time. So I wasn't subscribed to the Patreon then. So like I didn't actually read the any of it until it actually came out in print. But yeah, it was a good time.
So author Steve Rowland is it
Male stripper.
male stripper in
Yeah, and
Dungeon Crawler
he's
Carl.
not just called Steve Rowland. He's called
Actually, I
Okay.
made these
Steve
t-shirts.
Rowland.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to them because we listen to all of them on our drives when we're van lifing, and now I'm gonna have to find that name.
Here are all the strippers.
So I made this t-shirt for Matt Dinneman at DragonCon.
Don
And
Quixote.
I gave him one, and he wore it to the Dungeon Crawler Carl meetup.
That's awesome.
There was like over 500 people in cosplay at that thing. It was just crazy. So many people were asking about it. Like, where could they get one? And then Matt gave me his blessing to like put copies on my online shop. I think I've sold like 150 of them since then.
That is some
I
awesome
forgot
marketing.
you
Way to
are
go.
Yeah.
Fine.
We actually have a HearthCon shop with HearthCon merch.
Yeah, we should probably actually start HearthCon merching. Yeah, so part of the night where we deconstruct. I think we need slightly longer panels, less panels, and we need to stop at 6, not 8. I know that means less authors, but
I mean, this year, almost half of the so we had about half of my original authors have to bow out. And then this has been an interesting convention because I think we have about 52 authors. Don't quote me on that number. And I think 37 like schedule changes or like authors who had to leave, and I had to find other authors to replace them. So, and then we had, I think, 10 authors emergency canceled this week.
That happened to me last year. I remember. I felt so bad.
It's totally understandable for this year, and I'm totally unfazed. I'm very excited to have those authors come back this year. But what happened was, and this is true for almost every person who had to cancel. Every year, New York City Comic-Con is the first weekend of October. New York City is where all the publishing houses are, where all of the publishing celebrations are. So if you're trad published, you get invited by your publishers to go to New York City Comic-Con because it's where they have like these huge cozy fantasy and author panels and stuff, all facilitated by your publisher. And it's always the first weekend of October. But this year, nobody realized really until August that it was the second weekend of October, which, as almost never happened. Like it wasn't last year. It's not next year. Next year, it's also the first weekend of October. So a lot of people were getting messages from their publishers being like, I hope you have your plane tickets ready for 2 months from now. And then they're messaging me being like, we're so sorry because the biggest event in publishing just kind of overcrossed. And that just means I have a already planned out next convention because I really want to invite all of those authors back. I was really excited to have them, and we were planning all the panels around being able to have them come next year.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
We really should though have a not cozy panel next year. Get Matt Denneman in there and a couple other people.
No,
No, not cozy panel at the Cozy Fantasy Convention. No, okay.
I will do sub.
Matt Denneman and author S.L. Rowland for the not cozy panel.
But he told me he wants to write a cozy.
Wait,
Ooh.
Cinnamon could be on the animal one. He's got an animal.
He does have an animal companion. He just
What
needs to
about
write a novella.
Matt wants to write a cozy.
He said the most uncozy cozy. So,
Yeah.
if anyone can do it, it's him.
I believe.
Beating people to death with a pillow.
Yeah.
Llamas that you have to hug instead of run away from.
Or die.
Alex is like, I don't believe.
I don't believe that you could do cozy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We didn't
Let's
plan
see, what
it.
else? What else? Worked well hooking up to the Ethernet. I'm very glad that I have an Ethernet cable and that I didn't pack it away or lose it somewhere and was able to plug it in. Sorry to our romance panel, who were our test subject.
It's always the first.
But it's romance
panel.
and they deserve it.
Hey, you have a romance in your latest book.
Doesn't count. It's not a romance genre.
It's not a the number of times I have been to conventions. This is me going on a tangent again. I was at a convention. It definitely wasn't the lit RPG section of the Dragon Con convention. Definitely wasn't that. And I was hanging out and I was like, I'm one of the few cozy fantasy, I'm one of the few lit RPG romance novels. And do you know how many people, men, turned on a dime and were like, you're not one of the only ones. I have a romance in my novel. I mean, they die at the end, but it's still a romantic love interest. And someone turns around and they're like, yeah, Misty, you're not the only romance novel. My main character has a romance. They get together at the end of the 7-book series. The first 5 in which they didn't know each other, but at the end of the 7th book they get together, so it's a romance series. And I'm like,
Not the same.
Not the same.
good job, guys. Thank you for my TED Talk. Yeah. It's slow
What
burn.
else? StreamYard definitely worked out.
Mm-hmm. We'll be back next year. Yeah. What are you guys working on? What's your next series or next book going to be?
So I'm probably about 10,000 words from finishing my 4th Tales of Adria novel. It's called There Be Dragons Here. It's about a
really
dwarven
wanna read that.
grandmother. She goes on a quest to scatter the ashes of an old adventuring buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Where'd you get that idea? I love that idea.
Well,
Personal experience.
I mean, I like to think what can I bring new to the cozy genre, and with Sword and Thistle, that one's a cozy fantasy adventure, and I really liked kind of blending the two. And for this one, I wanted to start a cozy fantasy with a funeral, and so that's what I did.
Make anything cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your funeral. Yeah. Let's go that direction.
My next, I have been pitching as Kiki's Kung Fu Delivery Service meets Cthulhu.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yes, that's a good pitch because
Yeah,
it's
right?
real.
And it's real.
Yeah.
That's the I went, and so I want to try to Jancha, but then I was reading a bunch of Lord of the Mysteries, and playing a bunch of Bloodborne, and I was like, I really want to write an Eldritch horror, but I somehow want to make it cozy. How the hell am I going to do that?
Shansha.
And then I knew I wanted to write a Jancha, and then I was like, I've got a problem because I want to write a Jancha, but now I want to write an Eldritch horror. And then, there's that whole ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both? And so I went in and I spent an inordinate amount of time looking at all of the various systems for Jancha. So the trigrams, the elements, the chakras, all of that. And I mapped it all to
Eldritch horror.
I mapped it all to Lovecraft.
Cool. Very cool.
The hardest part of which was not the Eldritch horror, like the mapping part, which you think it would be. It actually mapped frighteningly well, actually. You'll see it when you see it, but it almost like slotted together beautifully. But the hard part was, did you know that the Cthulhu mythos is a lot of it is specifically public domain?
Mm-hmm.
Little snippets of it, just like little landmines, are not public domain. So it'll be like Cthulhu is public domain, but certain types of depictions of Cthulhu are not public domain because they were made up by authors who came later and didn't want to public domain their work.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cinderella and Snow White are public domain, but the Disney interpretations of them are not.
Yeah, so if you do your Cinderella with a blue dress and an elderly chubby fairy godmother, suddenly you're there's a lawyer somewhere salivating. Yeah, so I had to be very careful with that when I was looking at things. Like, did you know, for example, there is no fire-based elder god? You'd think there would be one. I found one, but he's literally just Fire Cthulhu, and he's copyrighted by an author from a later time. That still is for another 5 years.
So close.
So close.
Now you just make your own.
I just wrote my own. I just took one of Lovecraft's and then messed with it.
Do you have a title?
Dropship Cultivation.
Dropship Cultivation. Excellent.
Yeah.
So, Athon keeps telling me I need to do another alcohol one, but like, you've got the alcohol niche. You got to keep going with it. Like, my liver can't handle another alcohol series.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with branching out.
Is everybody mostly like doing like beers or meads in their stories? Or I know you've got cursed cocktails going on, but
James does Bronze Red Brewer.
Yeah,
What?
It's all beer. Hawkins Magic Beers. Mm-hmm.
Has anyone done wine?
I did wine and beer.
The Halfling's Harvest is about an inn and vineyard. So I mean, the thing I really like about my Tales of Adria series is that it's not like an ongoing series, so it's just a bunch of interconnected standalones, so I can kind of just jump wherever I want.
I totally copied you on that. I saw your episodic and I was like, I want to do that.
It's been really nice just because I spent like 6 years working on my last series, and I didn't want that hanging over my head anymore. So like whenever I finish a book, it's like a fresh start.
Cool.
I've got a series that's been
Troll. How many books are in Sentenced to Troll?
6.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wrote 5, and then I needed a break. So then I wrote 2 cozy fantasies, and then I went back and finished the 6th one.
Nice.
The Sentence to Troll is a series.
Yeah. So,
Episodic. Okay.
complete
I-
6-book series. Yeah.
I've been working on a 3-book series for 15 years, so that's why
Yeah.
I'll try episodic.
This time next year, we'll have Alex Peachy as well because he's writing a whiskey social sorcery book.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Drinking and appreciating, not producing. You know what? Drinking whiskey is just as fun as producing whiskey.
I would argue that drinking the whiskey is probably more fun than the producing the whiskey.
Oh, what
Speaking
about
of somebody who has both brewed beer and drink beer, one of them is significantly easier and comes with a better buzz.
Has anyone come across more like, sake or something, like other alcohols?
I did soju in book 4
cool.
of Beers and Beards. A whole thing on the creation of soju and sake, more concentrating on soju.
Nice.
Yeah, book 4 is essentially alcohol on tour.
Yeah.
And it's decidedly slightly less cozy than books 1 through 3, but that's sort of the nature of a world tour.
Yeah.
You see everything, even all of the not as great parts.
There's this moment he looks at me and he's like,
Is beheadings cozy?
if I behead this, is it a griff? If I
If I
behead
behead this
something,
monster, is it cozy?
Is it so cozy? And I was like,
As
okay,
long
well,
as its head
yes.
grows back.
If you
But-
describe him as being beside himself, I guess.
And that's what it was like. Describe how it is. Oh, I'm flying and I take out my sword and I slice off his head and it falls to the ground in a bloody heap. And I'm like, that's not cozy. Couldn't you just say, I defeated the monster, period? Like, that's cozy.
The imagery,
And suddenly
the imagery
he had
is
no
not-
head.
It's not quite the same.
At the end of our battle, he was beside himself.
Yep.
His head was
lost,
beside himself.
He lost his head and didn't know where to find it.
Mhm.
Uh,
He lost his head and now he's dead and doesn't know where to find it. Mhm. I defeated the monster. Right.
So, all of us alcohol folk.
And the two of us who aren't.
So tell me, do you guys
Yeah.
do the old go to the pub and then claim it as a business expense?
I didn't think of that.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
You
I've been talking with my accountant about it, and he says it's not quite worth the extra scrutiny yet.
It's funny
Yeah,
because
I've never tried it, but
I wrote for Beer Advocate magazine, and I traveled around for a bit interviewing brewers and producers, and I did write some things off as expense for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
actually, I did get to go tour wineries for the Halflings Harvest,
Awesome.
which that was a lot of fun to see how it is all made.
Nice. I would sometimes make my cocktails that are in my stories and be like, oh yeah, that works or that doesn't work.
That's the way to
Burn
do it.
blueberries.
Do it if you can.
Blueberries and put them in your cocktail. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I go when we do author meetups, like at pubs and stuff locally. I'll pull the old talking to the brewer, like talking to the head brewer or talking to the brewers in the back of the pub for the brew pubs. Just, hey, I'm an author. I write about beer. I would love to tour your guys' brew pub if that's okay. And they're always like, yeah, that's awesome. We'd love to brag about our beer. I have never been told, no, I don't want to talk about and gush about my beer brewing expertise. Never happened. But now I get to take other authors with it, and it's so fun because they always get this look like, I'm in the back in the brewery. There's all the kegs where they store all the beer.
I never
You get
thought
to do
about
the
pulling.
taste at the end.
You get to do this every time you go drinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
You were like that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're down to our final 10 minutes. We'd like to thank all of our volunteers, all of our authors, our wonderful people at Fireside Fantasy and our Cozy Fantasy.
Ooh, we have that thing that James was
We
reading
have that
earlier.
whole thing that James was reading earlier. We'll go pull that out.
This is entirely volunteer run, and I would like to thank Space Roxy, Upper Pen Podcast, a podcast of Smut and Dragons, Autumn Harvey, James Ghoul, Casey Blair, US.
Yes. Shusher Evans.
S. Usher Evans, Morgan Lockhart, Nathaniel Webb, Evelyn Davey, Nat Connors, Herman Stewart Nagel, Jen Collignon, probably, Lynn Strong, and my darling JollyJupiter for running this event.
And you.
I almost read My Darling. And looking back, I probably should have.
Just everybody's darling. What can I say?
People don't know his name, so I call him husband. Usually, like husband, and all of our neighbors now know him as husband. And
it was really awkward. I went to the where was it? I went to the local coffee shop and. They had my coffee ready, and the barista calls across the cafe.
64-year-old.
Yeah, 64-year-old
male barista. Husband.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and so I come over. He is like, "Here you go, husband," and I'm like, "Thanks."
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a tip.
Didn't he say hi to you? Didn't he call you husband in the supermarket like a week later?
Yeah, he called me husband in the supermarket.
Hi, husband.
He refuses to learn my name at this point.
That is your name now.
I tell my wife it should be husbando. What was that? That was a joke at.
We used to do mahjong nights, and our friends
back
weren't
when we
married.
had time. Our friends weren't married. We didn't have a child, and neither of us were writing. So we did things like
mahjong night, and she was his waifu because they weren't married yet. Waifu, and so he became the husbando.
Well, we would joke she's the waifu, and she'd say, "Well, that's not fair. What are you?" It's like husbando. So, like, you know, the Zorro Zen.
That's the first thing I thought was Zorro.
Yeah, exactly. So we would do that whenever we crushed them at mahjong. We'd be like husbando.
I'm so glad I finally got to put faces to everybody. We've all been like faceless on Discord for so long.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, except for you, James.
Yeah. On our screen here, Cindery is over top of you, so you can just imagine that James is like a cute little fire sprite.
I mean, that's what the fire sprite would sound like, I think.
Yes. Female fire sprite. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you guys, any outside thoughts or, from alcohol loosened lips?
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I didn't catch it. I'm sitting right here.
Any outside thoughts or advice for HearthCon 2027 from lips that have been loosened by alcohol?
Don't skip a year. That's the first part of advice.
Okay.
Maybe have one in 2026.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
What about like sort of a panel that deals with how difficult it is to be an author? I mean, just like.
Ooh, like an author.
Sort of mental health kind of one.
Health. Yeah.
Like in the trenches.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The trenches.
I'll definitely need one by then.
Man, burnout is real.
Right.
In there.
And especially end of series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I know Matt's dealing with it.
No.
Poor what's his name? He who fights with monsters.
Oh. Yeah. Did you guys hear?
Shirley.
Yeah, Shirley. But he's alive. He did not die.
That's good.
Good job, Shirley. Yeah. He's like, everything practically died, but I managed not to. I thought I was going to be able to get back to writing, but when your body was literally dead for a while, you apparently don't just bounce back.
Yeah,
So quick.
I feel like that's a little more extreme than burnout, though.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Serious
But
burnout. Needs some
I think
necromancy.
every author I know who's at sort of, as soon as you start hitting book 4, 5, or 6, the burnout is real.
Mhm.
Dude, yes, book 4 for me. I'm like, I don't want to finish book 4.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
so close. I don't want to.
Trilogies work
Trilogies,
so well.
yeah. That was the same thing. Rhett at Aethon was saying, is like, trilogies, just do trilogies. Trilogies sell well. You'll
Mhm.
know more than a trilogy. If you're not selling well, it's not worth it. More than a trilogy. If you are selling well, it's almost
feel-
better to.
Michael Sullivan was saying that. He's like, never sell 4 books in a series. Sell 3 books in a series because inevitably.
Well, your new series brings fresh readers, and they'll go read your other series.
Mhm.
And mine's episodic, like
Mhm.
Steven is your name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like I feel like I'm throwing pasta at the wall to see which one sticks better. So far, dragons, but it's like they don't have to be really that related. So I could go on and on with Cozy Tales of Laroon, and maybe one of them sticks, but I kind of want to move on to something else.
Yeah. I definitely wanted to stop writing cozy at some point. Like not go into horror or
Yeah.
graphics. Just like there's like levels of rules that are expected in cozy, and I'm like, I'm burned out. Okay, so I got one negative review, and someone messaged me. Because I'm not out there reading my reviews, but someone's like, Misty, you're gonna like this review because it is both funny and wrong.
Nice. We all read our
And I
reviews.
was like,
We all read our reviews.
I'm ready. And the review was, this book was so different from the others. It wasn't cozy. It felt like Mystic Neptune had been kidnapped and trapped, and this was a cry for help from her depressing hellhole. Also, it was bad because it was first person, which all my other books were. And like they listed a bunch of it was lit RPG, which all of my other books were, and it had like OP characters, which all of my other books were. So I was like, okay, valid. I was in burnout when I wrote book 3, and they were different characters, right? I was following a divorced bridge troll and a
a divorced bridge troll who threw her ex-husband off a cliff. I mean,
yeah, right.
a real cliffhanger there.
People are just different, and they were just not as like whimsically naive as the main character, or like a
To be
jolly
fair,
bard as the second.
your first character was the brooding dark lord of the forest, and your last character was the brooding icy lord of the north.
That's true.
So I mean,
Like, yeah, but I just thought it was really funny because I remember writing book 3 and being like, I think I plotted too close to the sun, and it's not. It's hot now.
yeah, she's like, I want to just write a plain romance for my next. Like,
Oh my God, one of my
go write a
best-
plain romance.
One of my best bad reviews was actually for my sci-fi that I published and unpublished, but I'll publish again later. And it was some dude. I didn't write it for guys. It was like about women and whatever, but he sounded like some conservative dude. But in his 2-star review, he said, "A future as imagined by Greta Thunberg, but at least better." And I was like, thanks. I actually use that as my advertising.
I love certain types of bad reviews. My number one review, it's actually my number one review right now. It is my most liked review across all platforms, which is great because it shows up whenever you try to go find my book. And it's like, these are all the things I didn't like about this book. But if you like those things, this is the book for you. It's like a lit RPG, and it's got a bunch of dad jokes and this and that, and it's a slow kind of slice of life where you learn about beer, but I don't like those things. So,
I don't have a beard.
and I don't have a beard. Dwarves and hijinks, and it's just not my kind of book. 3 stars. And I'm like, thank you.
Thank you.
I will take that negative review for,
Yep.
for somebody else. They're going to read that and be like, damn, that's the book I want.
You know,
Yeah.
it was really tough for me because in 2020, when I was writing Hawkins Magic Beers, I didn't mean for it to be cozy. In fact, there's a lot of gore, and I started publishing it on Royal Road, and there was tags you can use, which one of them was gore and action, and it turned out to be labeled cozy, and it was tough for me because I was asking myself, do I keep writing in that vein, or do I kind of stay true to the story where there's bloodshed, there's battles, there's some gory parts, especially with Thrush, one of the main characters, who dislikes to eat people. And so in book 3, that's when I started to see reviews about how like cozy kind of went out the window. But that's tough because it was never meant to be cozy. It was just, I really wanted characters. One of the tenets in writing is that dialogue is action. And you'll find that in screenwriting. You'll find that in a lot of literature where dialogue is action. And so it's dialogue heavy in book 3. There's a lot of battle. And I got some reviews where people said I lost some of the coziness, but like, what am I supposed to do? And
It happens.
yeah, but I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad I stuck with my guns because it was the only way.
I actually just wrote a chapter for beers on that kind of exact subject because I've found, reading Beware of Chicken, it feels like it gets less cozy over time.
Big world battles.
Big world, and let me just see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, I just thought it was funny because I see that with lots of cozy books where as the story goes on, it somehow feels like it becomes a little less cozy. Like even at the end of Legends and Lattes, it's like the inn burns down, right? And
I haven't read it.
Spoilers.
Oh, right.
Oh, right. I think it's so. Let's see.
yeah,
How
you
did
did
how
just
did we
write
get
this.
here? How did we get here? Through the door? Is this a trick question? No. Here now, waiting on tenterhooks for a war, drinking a bunch of alcohol underground, with a bunch of blah blah blah. Spoilers. I gave the question more serious consideration than it deserved. I think it's Tolkien syndrome. What? Wishing that elves were real and you could go live in a hobbit hole? Tolkien syndrome's a thing. Wishing, it's pining after Arwen and stuff.
Aragorn?
Yeah, Aragorn. Yeah.
I pine after Aragorn. Yeah, I do.
But hey, in our world, in our fantasy worlds, elves actually are real. But no, I don't know if it has a formal name. If you guys know, I'd like to know. By the way, just as an aside, I'm referring to how any story or event always eventually leads to high drama purely under the weight of its own history. Like how the hobbits start all happy in the Fellowship and end up killing Satan by the end of Book 3. Or little Harry and his friends are just learning magic, and by Book 7, they're fighting a wizarding war and everybody's dying.
Somewhere, at some point, something bad is going to happen, and
That's life.
that's life.
Yeah, I think the key word that you said was drama, right?
Yeah.
Drama.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that things have to be violent. Drama can be very, very political, dialogue heavy.
Yep.
I think that's just the nature of storytelling. Things happen and then bigger things happen.
Yeah, it's just under the weight of its own history, right? Like you're starting out, you're small, you're just a brewer in a brew pub brewing beer.
Travis.
And then by the end of it, you're, the lord of all beers and somebody's coming for your title.
Travis Baldry talked about that as one of the defining features of cozy fantasy was narrowing down, where it's like you don't look at the world-ending plots, you narrow it down to the small dramas, and that's what keeps things cozy. And so it's like the moment you let yourself get outside of this into the rest of the world and the storylines, all of the overarching drama shows up, and you're like, oh yeah, our neighbor is at war because they're slaves. Probably not cozy. My book has a lot of trigger warnings like that.
Mhm.
That's a good point about the
Mhm.
kind of keeping within that
Mhm.
small space.
Yeah. That's
But
probably
you-
why I like writing it, is because the world is so crazy right now that I don't want to think about the big world. I want to think about tiny little dramas that I can control.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's what I wanted to mention earlier. Is that one of the central themes in my books is kindness,
Yeah.
and I wanted to write characters who respond to their own true selves, but with kindness. They can say no, they can be aggressive, but kindly. And I took that all the way through all 3 books, but I think it's knowing what to do with things that counts when you're in the narrowed part of things. Some of the drama, it's how they're handled. And I think character interaction is such an important column for when things get cozy.
Yeah.
All right, I
almost
think that's
time.
the end.
Shall we
That
push
means
our
I have to
books
get
and-
up and push the button to end the stream.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, there's
I write
an end
this.
stream right there.
Wait. We'll give you a chance. I write this. Jolly writes.
Ugh.
Look
My
at
book
the
starts next to me.
Grab your books, bring out your dad.
Bring out your dead.
Bring out your dad. Here's some beers.
Here we go.
Author S.L.
Yeah.
Rowland.
It's my latest
Swinging
one,
around his
The Halfling's
Books.
Harvest.
So Rowland.
This is the one that started it all, Cursed Cocktails. And this is the Cozy Fantasy Adventure. Sort
And
of.
then
You
wait.
know, I laughed so hard, by the way, when you changed the name to Cursed Cocktails. I remember the whole kerfuffle that happened over that.
Am I looking at
Yeah.
So funny
It's
because
James.
I came out with Beers and Beards right at the exact same time as that kerfuffle was happening. I was like, man, do I need to change mine?
If
Do
you
I
had been the
have to-
first, you would have needed to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were the first, so you
Yeah.
had to
Thanks for
change it.
taking one for
And
the
the red,
team.
thanks for taking one for the
And
team,
I
Steve.
still like the original title better.
What was the
Yeah.
original?
It was Curses and Cocktails.
Curses and Cocktails.
Mm.
Okay.
And I ended up changing it about a week after publication. Luckily, only the ebook was out at that point, so like when I did all the print, it was already Cursed Cocktails. But and then literally like within weeks of me doing that, there were all these others that were like the blank and blank titles. And
Oh, didn't
no-
you get
no-
didn't you get some flack for that?
Yeah,
yeah,
you
that's
did.
why.
I
That's why
mean,
I
my
changed
heart
it.
my heart went out to you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wild time. I even I talked with Travis before I released it. I was like, I'm thinking of titling my book this, and he was like, yeah, go for it. You know, I got my inspiration from like Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. You know, I think it's kind of a staple of fantasy, and so I was like,
Mine's
cool.
Whiskers and Wishes.
Well, the problem was Steve was the very first author in
right
the cozy
after,
fantasy
right
space
after Legends of Latte.
to publish a cozy fantasy, and he called it Curses and Cocktails. And the community of writers were like,
You're
"You're
just
just copying
Travis
Travis."
Yeah.
Even though Travis said it was cool and everybody was cool with it, and so he's like, okay, and changed it to Cursed Cocktails. And like a week later, 50 other people published books, and
Mm.
Right.
uh,
Aw.
mhm.
The dangers
very-
of being a writer.
It's very admirable that you were flexible. A lot of people,
Mhm.
to their detriment, aren't flexible.
Yeah, I didn't want the drama, so I was like, let's,
Nobody needs that drama.
yeah.
It's surprising
Right.
because I think Beers came out like right at the same time that was going on.
But that was your series name, and your book name was an Adventure Brewing. I think.
No, it came
No,
out
it
as
was
Beers and
Beers and-
Beards.
We were on Road Road.
I think it was just such a different style and concept, right? Because Curses and Cocktails was still set in a kind of cafe with.
Yeah, it's a similar vibe. Like, I mean, I never hid that Legends and Lattes was like my inspiration for writing it, and you know, it's like a seasoned you know, mage who's been around for a while. He's retiring and opening a tavern, and I mean that's where the kind of the similarities end. But that's enough when people are just seeing the blurb to be like, you're copying him.
You definitely made the story your own, though. Like, I love the representation for the physical injury, or I guess
Chronic
not
pain.
injury. Yeah.
All right, I have to get up and go hit that end stream button.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
husband.
Ollie and Misty. You did amazing.
Lovely to see you guys. We'll see you again next year.
See you next year.
And in the Discords.
Yep.
Okay. It's done.